Hello, this is Yon Makori. I'm here now at Fang Cheng. It's BYD's premium SUV lineup. It's a brand that makes authentic SUVs. Personally, I've told you several times that I really like the Fang Cheng series. Actually, more than BYD's other vehicles, I wanted these kinds of cars to be released in Korea. The chance of the 7 Series releasing in Korea has risen, and the C-Line 6 is also expected to launch first. I told you it would be released. Now it's almost certain. So can Fang Cheng vehicles also be released? First, let me present the evidence. Currently, a patent application has been filed. I think the Fang Cheng 7 is the most likely vehicle. You can keep an eye on this yourselves. Now let's check out what kind of vehicle the Fang Cheng 7 is. First, let's look at the exterior design. The gold tone color isn't too heavy, and I think it looks pretty good. And the Fang Cheng in this cool blue color makes the vehicle look a bit smaller. You could say it's a design that feels as refreshing as the sea. And personally, the color I like the most is this one. It's really refreshing. The front design features 4 large jewel-like elements that leave a strong impression on anyone who sees them. It looks powerful. If no one told you, it would be almost impossible to find any connection between this Fang Cheng and BYD. Including the design, it's a completely different vehicle. On the front, you can see the bold L-shaped design at the bottom. The surfaces are very pronounced. So it might look a bit bulky, but by making the inside thinner like the Nike logo, it doesn't feel too heavy. If you look closely inside, you can see the logo there. Oh, they even paid attention to details like this? For owners who purchase this car, it's the kind of detail that makes owners happier every time they see it. Below, there's a fog light, so the headlamp is located over here. For reference, how much do you think Fang Cheng 7 costs? The current selling price in China is between 35 million and 38 million won per unit. These vehicles are being sold for between 35 million and 38 million won. Wow, if you add more options or go for a higher end trim, the price will go up even more, but you know how it is. Even base models of imported cars have many convenience features, which is their appeal. It's the same with BYD. Then, the off-roader, the Ti7, the exact name is the Ti7. How about the size of Ti7? Compared with the Palisade, the Ti7, is it bigger? It's a bit smaller than the Palisade. The exact size is 4,999. Personally, I think a vehicle around this size is the absolute minimum, but here are the rest of the specifications. The most important thing is the powertrain. Is it an electric car or is it a PHEV? This vehicle is a plug-in hybrid. There have been many pros and cons of PHEV so far. In Korea, people tend to mention the disadvantages, but that's an old story. Now they've gotten much better. You think charging is slow? No, that's not true. No, it's not. Charging is fast too. They call it an electric car, but it doesn't go very far. No, that's not true. They've improved a lot. In the case of the Ti7, it features a 1.5-liter turbo engine and 5th generation DMI hybrid technology. Because it's a PHEV, that's the combined range, totaling an impressive 1,000 kilometers. That's why. So you can definitely drive it with more peace of mind compared to an electric car. Then, how far can you drive in pure electric mode? That depends on the size of the battery. A vehicle equipped with a 26.6 kilowatt battery can drive up to 135 kilometers. If you compare this to existing PHEV vehicles, that is, imported PHEVs sold in Korea for around 100 million won, it can drive more than 30 kilometers farther. A vehicle equipped with a larger 35.6 kW battery can drive almost 200 kilometers. If you can drive 200 kilometers and if you commute in the city, that's a distance where you might be able to use it for a whole week without charging even once. Also, you said that PHEV vehicles charge too slowly. The Ti7 takes 17.5 minutes to charge from 30% to 80%. It's not like before when it used to take hours. What do you think about this? That's enough time to have a cup of tea, right? Oh, and as I'm explaining right now and looking at the rear part here, wow, with this angular design, it almost feels like a Defender. The design of Chinese cars has now found its place. This is what makes the Chinese market feel so intimidating. It's honestly incredible. This kind of color really has an iconic feel. I think a lot of people will like it. I also like this kind of color. It looks like a totally different vehicle. Here, the frunk operates electrically and it's really cool. Since it's a taller SUV, this space is truly enormous and impressive. If you're a petite woman, you might even be able to fit inside here. Kids could definitely fit in. If you leave about a hand's width on each side, the car with this huge frunk space is the Pangcheonbao. The frunk size depends on whether it's front motor or rear drive based. Since the frunk is open, let's take a quick look. It looks like the gas strut is thick enough and has a sufficient size. Look at the finish. We've reached this level. And what surprises me is this. If you look now, the fact that there's such a large frunk space means that this car, being an RWD, doesn't have a motor here, so there's no noise generated. But it's an effort to reduce even a little bit of the noise coming up from the road. This teal color, which you can often see in the Chinese market, indicates that autonomous driving technology is currently being demonstrated. You can see it very often, not only on regular roads, but also on highways. Also, a large side step is provided at the bottom, allowing you to board safely. This teal color gives a really strong impression. If the gold color from earlier felt like a wealthy gentleman, this teal color feels very sentimental. If I could choose, I do like the gold color, but I think this is the one I'd choose. Now let's check out the interior space that we're curious about. First, the door is a standard physical door, which I personally prefer. Now, when you open it, this is what the interior space of the Ti7 looks like. First impressions are important, whether it's a person or a car. I intentionally showed you a bold color. In Korea, people have mixed opinions about this orange color. So this is how it feels. I'll show other interior colors soon. First, if you look at the door trim, it has a sturdy design, and this is a genuine off-road vehicle. So, compare it to my finger. The buttons are big and chunky. This design was made so you can use it even while wearing gloves when working off-road. But it's not just a simple square design. The sides have been shaved down, so you can see these cut designs that look like jewels. If the controls feel this good, the competition should be nervous. It's an off-road vehicle, but did they consider noise? How thick is the glass to block outside sounds? Laminated acoustic glass has been used. It seems like it can reduce the noise coming in from outside. It's impressive that, even as an off-road vehicle, the tweeter and mid-range speakers are in the door. Let's review the brand's basic engineering. The hinge parts use large machined hinges. This kind of structure is convenient for long-term use, especially since this vehicle is for off-roading. When you're off-roading, the vehicle isn't just sitting flat like it is on level ground. It gets twisted. A structure like this in back is essential for off-road vehicles, not optional. Even so, the fact that BYD uses this type of hinge structure in all their vehicles, including compact cars, makes me want to applaud their commitment to the basics. Now let's look at the interior. As soon as I sat inside, I thought, why is the interior so cozy? The exterior had a rugged design, but once you come inside, it's really comfortable. Wow.
너무 편합니다.
The orange color definitely catches your eye and gives a fresh feeling, but since I haven't used it before, it's hard for me to say much about it. The reason I said the seat felt cozy as soon as I sat down is because it provides a really soft cushion like this. The texture of these things is nice too. If you flip it over, you'll see the Fang logo on the headrest like this. It's a basic design, but the finish isn't too plain, so it feels pretty sturdy. The shoulders are very wide on both sides. It means it provides good support. Oh, these things are quite thick. Wow, do you think it has a massage function? And over here, they've added a comb-like pattern. This is the overall design. It doesn't look plain, and it maintains a luxurious feel. And these wide seat cushions and bolsters that can support me well off-road, these parts are important. The material of the first row pillar seems to be knit. The tweeter is also installed on the pillar, which is a good placement. And this is the design of the air vent, and they've made a small compartment so you can store little accessories. I don't think a scented can will fit here. Still, you can naturally put things like pens or various small items in here. You can easily put things like a watch or other accessories in here. Sunglasses would fit in here too. On the passenger side, there's only a window button like this. The button's texture and shape are both nice. There's also a storage space at the bottom where you can fit a large bottle. Let's take a closer look at the driver's area. This is the interior of the Ti7, which will likely be released in Korea. The instrument cluster is about 10 inches and it's equipped with LiDAR, so you can see the people in front like this. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vehicles on display. If you look around here, you can see the vehicles on display like this. It's displayed very clearly like this. Features like LiDAR are now almost standard in China. It's becoming standard, but some vehicles in Korea have already been released with LiDAR. And since it couldn't be used, it disappeared. But I remember it was a 7 million won option. The instrument cluster shows charging information and the remaining driving range. The drive mode is being displayed. Frequently used off-road features are located here. Hey, even these aren't just simple plastic. They've put metal material inside. They did put it in. Look at these protruding pillars. They made it so it clicks firmly into place. They're really good at making things like this. BYD's Fang brand is also really good at making things like this. And on the right, this looks like an old design that seems to have come straight from imported cars. Next to it, there's what looks like a park button. The thing you use the most is the driver's steering wheel. Maybe because the Fang logo is in the center, it feels really solid. On both sides, there are toggles and volume buttons. Oh, hey, there's a difference here. I just told you about BYD's flagship vehicle a little while ago. I mentioned that this material feels very luxurious, but the way it operates feels much more premium on the Fang side. Both vehicles had the same setup. But wow, the weightiness is different. It really feels like operating a high-end audio system. This is completely different from BYD's luxury vehicle. Is it really this heavy? They put memory foam inside. It does turn smoothly, but you can really feel the texture, you know? It's impressive. I didn't know that BYD made this kind of distinction in their higher-end vehicles. At the bottom, there's a structure for naturally placing your hand. What about the infotainment system? This is a common feature in BYD vehicles, so just take a look at it together. I'll just go over it briefly. Temperature, settings, navigation, music, and you can see all the menus. It moves really quickly, doesn't it? And it has a high-capacity processor. When you drag like this, it follows along smoothly. With a lower spec processor, it can't keep up like this. So you can see that it responds smoothly like this. The last button turns off the screen. Air vent control is also included. And this vehicle is a serious off-road oriented vehicle. Where is the off-road menu? Let's look for it. Let's look for it. I think it might be this one. That's right. When you press this, it activates the terrain mode and turret mode activate here. It works like this. These things as well. Whether it's on the infotainment system or a physical button back here, you have to turn your head to see it. Once you know it's there and just reach out your hand a little, I think the position is good. And the buttons related to parking, the emergency button, the size is a bit small. When I look at this part in the domestic version, I think it's really nice. Compared to other imported cars, I think this is pretty good. And since it shows EV and EV hybrid like this, you can tell that this car is a PHEV. Depending on the mode, you can also drive it like an electric car. Defrost mode and also the volume. They provide it here once more too. This is definitely too far for the driver to use. There must be a reason. This volume button could be considered a thoughtful feature for the passenger. They might have left it out intentionally, but this level of thoughtfulness, even if I press it again, it's impressive. If you ride the Fang 7, remember this. Try turning it here. Turn it and let me know in the comments. I think you'll feel the same way I did. Now let's take a look at the overhead console. It looks luxurious. And I always say this, when you're off-roading, you need to be able to operate things while wearing gloves. You can do that here. These parts are spaced out at regular intervals. So they've made sure you can operate it easily, considering these details. With 4 LED lights, it looks like you'll have a bright interior even in pitch black places. Now there's a vanity mirror provided here. When you open it, the LED light on top turns on. And seriously, is this really a 30 million won car? This is unbelievable. There's a speaker up here. Wow, when it comes to convenience features, it should be the kind of setup you appreciate all the time, and it's a bit disappointing when it's something you only use once in a while. These speakers are always usable. Amazing. Let's finish looking at the front row, including the center console. Let's see the second row. In the center, you can charge 2 devices. It's 50 watts each. 100 watts is available, but since smartphones can't handle it, 50 watts is the max. Here's the cup holder design. There's no separate cover provided. What is this? 2 degrees, 5 degrees. Then this must be a mini fridge. The size of the fridge isn't that big compared to other vehicles. It's a size where you can put in 1 large drink or maybe 2 small drinks. Try comparing it with your fist. When you spread out your palm, it's about 20 centimeters, but this space is less than 20. So the size of the icebox is smaller than expected. There's also a small front compartment. I think expanding this area to use all the space would better match the car's class. You can also use the lower part of the center console as a storage space, but that's kind of cheating. Oh, and there's a fragrance diffuser here. It sparkles like a jewel, and you can choose which fragrance to use. There's a Type A, and Type C port, and next to them you can see a 180 watt 12 volt socket. I think this car will be loved by people who prioritize practicality. I asked earlier if it had massage seats, right? There's a massage function down here. My car doesn't have this feature, so I'm really jealous of this part. Now let's check out the second row space. Let's check it out. I'll check the second row space as well. When you open the door, wow, it's really heavy. The child lock function is right here. If you have young children, you can use it here. About the first row height. Someone is sitting here now. See the headroom? You don't have to fit 2 or 3 fists in there. There's enough headroom to fit your fists in easily. And it also has a really large sunroof. It almost reaches all the way to the front of the driver. Especially in the back, it extends quite far. It's large enough to stretch out above the headrest. And these second row seats, they're orange seats, orange in color. They're the same as the first row. If you thoughtfully add a neck pillow like this, it really increases the satisfaction for those using the seats. And of course, the seats recline as well. Right now, you see this ledge here, right? There's a ledge about this high across the vehicle. I measured it and it's about this much, showing the range of its adjustment function. The first row has features for mounting items like this. You can use this sensibly by getting an accessory like a hanger. There are dual pockets provided on both sides. There's also a large pocket at the bottom. I personally like how well organized this space is. The second row is really big. It's big. The seat base is quite large. I usually bring a ruler, but since I'm overseas today, I couldn't bring one. If there are 2 of these, the tray is about 50 in size. This is definitely wide enough. You can use it comfortably. All right, then how about this side? Now, it just has a simple cup holder. Let me try sitting in the second row. I'll also get a feel for the seating. The person sitting in the first row has pushed the front seat back a lot. It's been pushed all the way back behind the pillar, this much. It's been pushed back. I'll try sitting in this state. I'm sitting with my hips forward, but there's still enough space for a fist. So, in a normal situation, you'll get at least 2.5 to 3 fists of legroom. It provides plenty of legroom. You can think of it that way. Second row air vents are located here, behind the console. Personally, I prefer when the vents are provided on the pillar side, because if they're on the pillar, the air can heat up the cabin space more quickly. Or in the summer, it can cool things down quickly, but I guess there's a reason why they're provided from the center console. Still, I want to say again that I personally prefer the B-pillar side. Speakers are on the pillar side with stylish LED lighting. Pressing it lets you adjust brightness. So, as you can see, there's one provided above the first row's head and another above the second row's head. And I've mentioned that the side step is important for this kind of vehicle, and as you can see, it's this wide. Look at it compared to my shoe. A side step wide enough to cover more than half your foot is provided. The interior is quite luxurious. Before I check the trunk as the last thing, let's quickly look at the colors since we're at an auto show. Yes, let's take a quick look at the colors. It looks like a grayish black. It's not a pure black. It has a bit of an urban vibe. And as soon as I got in, I thought, oh, this car definitely feels like a Land Rover. This is nice if you find it really hard to choose a color. And for me, the orange color feels a bit too much. For those people, I can just recommend this color. And these bright colors have the advantage of making the interior look a bit bigger. Not bad, right? I think this color is one that domestic consumers will really like as well. Since the areas touching your body are light, they get dirty easily. This also applies to the second row space where your family sits. It feels like I'm in a luxury SUV. First, you can say it's a proper SUV. Depending on the color, the vehicle looks different like this. If I had to make a default pick, I think I would consider this color first. So are there any other colors? Let's look at one more. Yes, there is. I found it. It's black. This is what the black color looks like. It changes a lot depending on the car's color. The orange color felt really intense. The gray and white colors you saw earlier looked luxurious and spacious. On the other hand, the black color here feels calm and substantial. Looking closely, it's more like black with a hint of blue. There's a bit of a bluish tint mixed in, so this one also looks luxurious in its own way. That's the vibe. If this gets released in Korea, I think you'll have to see this color in person and choose for yourself. When the light is blocked like this, it looks black in the dark, right? But over here, it looks blue. There's a difference. I'll show you in a brighter area. You can clearly see the blue here, right? That's why I've told you to test drive the car several times before you buy it when you're choosing a vehicle. Even the color looks different depending on where you see it, and the driving feel and your condition on that day can make the test drive feel completely different. That's what a car is. We've reviewed the details. Finally, let's check the trunk space. In the trunk space, you can see a design where you can store a tire. When I first saw this, I thought it was electric. It opens smoothly, doesn't it? It opens very pleasantly. And over here, when you go swimming outdoors and have wet items, storing them in this outer compartment like this is really convenient. All right, and over here, there's a camera in the box. Now let's open up the trunk space that I was curious about. If you press it from the side, it's not fully electric. It opens smoothly like this. How about the hinge? The hinge here is different, right everyone? I mentioned it's machined, but I didn't show you the trunk hinge on the BYD. Usually SUVs open this way. But there's a reason I didn't bother showing you this hinge. BYD uses this kind of hinge structure on the door side as well. However, here they're still using this folded structure. If you look at a vehicle like the BMW X5, it also uses this kind of hinge structure here. There's still a gap here compared to the German Big Three, but it's used in Fang vehicles. That's what I know. I know that a solid structure needs to be included. Currently, this side of the door absorbs all the force, so there's a solid structure here. This is the trunk space, designed for immediate use of the concept. There's also a hanger here, so after returning from the market, you can easily hang your items. Now on the side, there's a 12-volt outlet with up to 180 watts. This is what the space at the bottom looks like. It would be good to store car accessories or some small tools in this area. And personally, I think it would have been nice if a hitch for towing was provided at the bottom here, but it doesn't seem to be included as standard. Even so, how much is this vehicle? In the Chinese market, it's being sold for in the mid to upper 30 million won range. So, demanding something like that might be too much. And as I close the door, I notice there are details on this side too. First, wow, they've left this gap here on both sides. So you can secure various items here. They've made it so you can hang things, and they've even added a mesh net here. I definitely have to say this kind of thing is a really thoughtful touch. Both the front and back have this structure. See how the front structure is different? It's different like this. This side clicks and fits perfectly. Let me try closing the door. So this is how the structure looks. This has been Yeonmot Gurum from the BYD Fangchengbao exhibition booth. I hope the Ti7 vehicle will be released in Korea. Thank you. If this was helpful, please give it a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to get accurate new car information quickly. Thank you.